The opinions expressed in the following programs are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Rogers nor Rogers TV.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Talk Politics. Our guest this week is Oshawa Mayor Dan Carter, who joins us via Zoom from his office. Welcome back to the show.
Hi, Deb. It's great to be able to see you. May I say that you look spectacular. You and I were just talking before coming on air, and we didn't even talk to each other ahead of time, but we're coordinated. So that's pretty good.
Totally coordinated. Real men wear pink.
That's right. And remember,
Love it.
The color of pink also celebrates anti-bullying, and we celebrated that just a couple of weeks ago. We want to continue to remind people that bullying has no place in our personal life or in our professional life or our workplace. So it's great to be able to see you once again.
Well said. Okay. We've got a lot to talk about. Let's start with your task force on community safety. We've got some news coming out.
I'm really excited about it. These door hangers, if you see it, report it. They're going to be coming out across the community. We're starting with the downtown core. This task force is chaired by Councillor Chapman, of course, and this is the window stickers that we have for businesses in the downtown and surrounding areas. Deb, the bottom line is what we're trying to do is we've been working with the community in regards to safety, security, and well-being of our community, especially through this pandemic. Some people are lost through the shuffle through the pandemic, and they are seeking assistance. That may be assistance through our hubs that we have for our homeless and unsheltered population. It may be individuals that are seeking assistance in our downtown core, our green spaces, our trails. We want to make sure that we address it as a community effort, and that's what we've done with the Mayor's Task Force on Community Safety and Wellbeing. We brought out this campaign because we want to make sure that everybody understands this is a community effort. And it's about us all being aware. It's very much like Crime Stoppers, where we're saying, okay, if we see something, report it. But this really is trying to engage the public in regards to all of us can be part of the solution when we see activities or people that may be struggling. There's an opportunity to be able to call and get assistance. Now, there's a couple numbers. There's Durham Regional Police in regards to criminal activities that are going on. You can call. Just leave the information and they'll make sure that they assign a car to that call. Or you can call if it's in regards to something that is happening on city property that is non-criminal event. You can call our City of Oshawa bylaw office and they'll be able to answer your calls in regards to it. But this is a great initiative that's kicking off. I'm really excited about it because the community has come together. We have business leaders, faculty around the table. We've got owners of buildings. We've got people that are represented from our senior community. We want to talk about our parks, our open spaces, our downtown core, and just talk about what we need to do. And what you should know, Deb, through this initiative is all of our trails, we're looking at lifting the tree lines, opening up the pathways, adding light there, making sure that they're patrolled by our bylaw officers and our security teams and Durham Regional Police. We've got a wonderful working relationship with Durham Regional Police. And this is about not only people feeling safe and having the sense of safety, but also the opportunity to be able to see the communities coming together to be able to help us be able to address the complexities of today's issues. And that means also we're families have been getting in touch with me. I had a wonderful call just last week about a family that got together and started doing community cleanup, and they did it along the creek. And it's just those kind of activities that bring us back together. You know, one thing COVID's done, Deb, is reminded us of the importance of community and coming together and working together to address the issues that our community is facing. So again, if you see it, report it. This is, as we say, community action with community solutions, and I'm really proud of our task force. If you want more information, get in touch with us here at the Mayor's office, and we can make sure you get this information out.
The number people should call if they want to get in touch with you in the Mayor's office.
So just give us a call at City Hall, 905-436-3311, and just ask for the Mayor's office. They'll connect you directly. If you're reporting an incident or an issue in regards to public facilities or green spaces, trails, and that, just call 436-3311 and ask for Service Oshawa, and they'll be able to address your concerns. If it's police, of course, always remember you've got to call the police. If it's an emergency, call 911, of course. And if it's through other ways, you can use Crime Stoppers, which is 1-888 1-800-222-TIPS or 8477. Again, 1-800, not 1-888, 1-800-222-TIPS, which is 8477. And the regular number for Durham Regional Police is 905-579-1520. That is for non-emergency issues that are police related. But if it's an emergency, 911.
So, the pandemic did bring its challenges with community safety, as you had mentioned.
Yeah.
Why do you think Oshawa became such a beacon for those in need of help?
It's because we have the services here, Deb. I mean, the bottom line is that we've got outstanding services that are able to help individuals that are unsheltered, those that are dealing with mental health or addiction, those individuals struggling in our community. We've always had those services in place. You think about the historical nature of Gate 316 and how many years that's been around, or the refuge that you and I really know really, really well. Now you add Mission United or the backdoor mission that has been here for many years also at the same time. All of these agencies have been in our community for many, many years, including Cornerstone, which is a men's shelter, or the Denise House for women and children. These agencies are right here in the great city of Oshawa. So we automatically have always found a way of being able to serve those individuals that are struggling in our community, and people continue to come to our community. What we're also seeing is there's a large majority of individuals now that are seeking services in Ajax and in Pickering, in Whitby, and in Clarington, and the northern part of our community. So all of us are coming together as 8 municipalities to be able to say, what are the investments that are necessary, not just on the housing front, but what about those services in regards to youth shelters or shelters in general, women's shelters, family shelters, men's hostels. All of these things have to be part of a solution as we address it all across the region of Durham. I don't need to remind anybody, but I will, which is 235,000 Canadians live on our streets each and every night across Canada. And we, like every other community across Canada, COVID-19 has taken those individuals that have been struggling either with addiction or mental health or being unsheltered, and really there is no place for them to turn throughout that period of time. That's why these efforts with Cornerstone, with the Refuge, with the Backdoor Mission, Mission United, all of these groups is so important to be able to meet their needs. And we also have our outreach teams, such as Carria's Hep C team, that is an outreach team, our Welcoming Streets team, which is another outreach team, and then our PCOP program, which is our paramedic outreach program with a paramedic and a social worker that go into the community, into the tent cities, not just here in Oshawa, but across the region of Durham, to be able to make sure that those services are provided for individuals that are seeking those services.
Now, of course, community safety at one point, well, it's always a concern, was a real concern to the point where you had to hire independent security firm to patrol some areas. Yeah. You don't do that anymore. Is there just not the need? Have things improved?
Right. So last summer, council made a decision to be able to hire an independent specialized security service, especially for the downtown core. They were finding that the complexities of what was happening in the early days of COVID really have brought some complexities that our regular security teams were not trained or equipped to deal with. So specialty services had to be hired. That contract was for 3 months. It ended and it wasn't renewed. We've always had security at our facilities, like our rec centers, our parking centers, our green spaces. We always have our security teams there. But the complexities of what's happened across the nation throughout COVID-19 has brought a lot of complexities to communities, and we're looking for different ways to address it. So what we did once that contract was up, we did what was called a security audit or an environmental scan about saying, so what's really going on in our community and at our facilities? What investments are necessary to be done? What type of security services do we need in these facilities? Has it changed over a period of time? And do we have the right people in the right place? And we hired a chief head of security, and he's undertaken that work along with the community to really see what's going on in our community. And what we're finding is the partnership between the community, Durham Regional Police, our social agencies and our outreach teams, along with our security teams and our bylaw teams, we've made huge amount of progress. And we believe that this initiative and the way that we've approached it, along with this initiative that I've spoken about, will be part of a solution as we move forward. We really do believe that we're on the right path.
So when can people expect to see the info? If you see it, report it, coming into their mailbox?
They're going to start seeing it. They're going to start seeing it probably this week, next week for sure. And I'm really excited about seeing all this. I'm going to be doing some knocking, talking, and dropping with a mask on, of course. And I'm going to make sure that people get this kind of material on their doorstep. We're working with our real estate agents also to make sure that they're distributed. We're working with other agencies to make sure all this information is distributed. We're really lucky. We have about 17 individuals on my task force from all different sectors, and all of them are participating in making sure this information is distributed. So like I say, if you see it, report it. There's numbers on here, information, and we're really proud of this initiative.
Plans to expand it?
Well,
other areas of the city?
Yeah, we're going to, what we did is, this is phase one, which is our downtown core, green spaces, trails, parks, and pathways. We're really concentrating on that particular area. Then we'll be expanding on phase two. We'll be expanding it out into the other parts of the city. Deb, the bottom line is, we need this as a community initiative and community to come together. Yes, we have specialized people doing the specialized work that is necessary, but this is a community initiative. We want to make sure that every community, every neighborhood, every home feels safe in their environment. And part of that means that all of us have to come together as community members and all of us be part of the solution.
You know, it's funny, you mentioned someone going out with the family and picking up garbage.
Yeah.
There will come a day when we can all get together to do that. And it will be a joy to get together and pick up garbage.
I know.
And feel that closeness of the community again.
I miss it so much. It's amazing. Paula and myself were talking about it just recently. And when the last lockout was lifted, the first place we went was to Chapters to look at books and just spend a couple hours walking through the bookstore. And matter of fact, we actually went out for dinner and ate outside. And we just kind of went, oh my goodness, isn't this really nice to do? And, you know, we're seeing that. And people really are, you know, first of all, we're not built for this. We're individuals that need to have human contact. We need that social interaction. And this isn't the same. This isn't the same at all. And when you look at the impacts that COVID has had in regards to people's mental health, in regards to the stressors that are in their lives, they may have a business, or they may have lost their job, or their partner may have lost their job. You know, there's a lot of stress on society today. And with this lockdown, what's happening is people really feel disconnected from their community, and they're struggling with it. And we're really trying to do everything we can to be able to work with them.
Okay, on that, I'm going to stop you there. We're going to go to a break. More of our conversation with Oshawa Mayor Dan Carter after this.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
They served to protect our homes. Now many are homeless. They fought for our way of life. Now many are fighting personal battles of their own. They answered the call for our country. Now we honor them by serving our communities. Help us help Canada's veterans. Become a Legion member today.
It's time to have a real conversation about mental health. Join me for a special Health 180 with Carrie and Fenn as we talk to a panel of mental health organizations for Mental Health Week. Learn helpful information, resources, and what you need to know about how to be your best you. Together we're stronger. That's a special mental health conversation on Health 180 with Carrie and Fenn, right here on Rogers TV.
Hi, I'm Jackie Hermans, the host of Uxbridge Scugog Life. Join us weekdays, 2 p.m. to find out everything that's going on in and around your community. That's Uxbridge Scugog Life, only on Rogers TV.
Hi, I'm Angel Morgan, host of Raising Energy. Join me weekly as I connect to spirits, animals, and so much more. That's right, Raising Energy, right here only on Rogers TV.
You're watching Rogers TV.
And welcome back to Talk Politics. Our guest this week is Oshawa Mayor Dan Carter. Let's talk about vaccines, the vaccine rollout, the vaccine supply. Depending upon who you talk to, we have a lot, or we don't have enough. Do you even know what the real story is?
What I can tell you is what I know. And what I do know is that the region of Durham could use a lot more vaccines than we're receiving. The vaccines that we are receiving, we're distributing. A vaccine goes with a name and an appointment. And I'm really proud of those that are administering the vaccines. I'm really proud of the centers. I don't know if you've had a chance, Deb, to go to one of the centers and see how the process works, but they've done a really good job about the logistics of that. And I'm really pleased about that. But the reality being is we've got to get more vaccine and more arms in this country. Now, you're seeing the numbers across Canada are escalating quite rapidly now. There's more vaccines that are made available, but I'm still concerned about those hotspot areas. We have one in northwest Oshawa, where we have a concentration of a higher infection rate. I'd like to see more vaccines get into that area and make sure people are vaccinated. Ajax and Pickering's got them into hotspots, and that's good. But the reality being is we need everybody that is eligible to get a vaccine and that is now able to get a vaccine, please take the opportunity to get vaccinated. You know, Deb, with the flu vaccine, I think our uptake in the flu vaccine is only 40%. We cannot have this vaccine for COVID-19 at 40%. We need it into the high 70s. We, ideally 70, 75, 77% of the population that is eligible to get the vaccines, People will make their decisions based upon their own beliefs and their own knowledge in regards to the vaccines. But this is what we know today about the medical professions. They're saying this vaccine is necessary for us to be protected. The really scary part, Deb, is these variants that are coming in. Now we've heard about, the UK variants, and we've heard about the South African variants. Now we're hearing about this Indian variants, and that's really, really scary. We're seeing around the world some of the impacts. These variants are hitting younger and younger people, and we're seeing that the impacts on their lives have been extraordinary. I'm going to ask everybody, I understand the fatigue, I understand the frustration, I understand the anger, I understand that we're not built for this. And I know that decisions are being made by the provincial and federal government that we as local municipalities must follow because of our chief medical officer dictates so. So we don't have the authority locally. We have to follow these rules. What I'm asking people to do is please follow the rules. Don't gather in large groups. Wear a mask, wash your hands, stay 6 feet apart, listen to the experts, get a vaccine, and please continue to abide by the rules. I know that there's groups out there that are saying that you don't need to wear a mask, you don't need to get vaccinated, you can gather in large groups. And what I'm saying is, please, we're seeing younger and younger people be infected. The last thing I want to see is somebody on a ventilator. And sadly, throughout this journey, especially here in the city of Oshawa and all across the Durham region, people have become victims of COVID-19 and have lost a loved one through it. Let's do the necessary things, as uncomfortable as it is. Let's do it right now so that we can save lives. Please, please.
You know what some people are telling me is they'd love to get vaccinated. They've put their names on the pharmacy lists. I myself got mine at the pharmacy. I was, lucky to get an appointment.
Yeah.
They've put themselves on multiple lists. They're not getting and they're not getting an appointment. They're not hearing back. And those that were able to get one shot are now worried about even being able to get a second.
Yeah, and you know what? I hear that. And one of the things is that I think that once we get through all this, I think there's going to be a lot of evaluation of what we did right and what we did wrong, and what we could do differently. I think the reality being is we better understand a couple of things. I think one is we've got to make sure that we've got the right products being manufactured here in Canada to make sure that we're no longer dependent upon other nations. Number two is we better make sure that we have the laboratories to be able to create vaccines right here in Canada and not the dependence upon other countries. I think that's number two. Number three is, what are we going to learn about this period of time about how masks work and how hand sanitizer worked and all those kind of things? What changed in our workplace? And I think that we have to take an evaluation of everything that we've done and look at our successes, but look at our failures and say, what do we need to do differently? Because the reality being is the experts are saying that this will not be the last pandemic that we ever face. So I'm hoping that we learn a great deal from this. One of the things that I've heard that you're sharing with me on a consistent basis is the frustration about getting on a list, but actually getting an appointment. Durham Region at one time, we're able to do about 10,000 vaccines a day. We were only getting about 3,500. The allocation of vaccines, of course, doesn't come from the region of Durham. It comes from the province of Ontario. And so now you're hearing about them sending even more vaccines into hotspots because of the reason that they want to stop the spread there. Yeah. I think the reality being is, we hear about Costco's and we hear about the drugstores. We hear about our centers that are taking appointments. The reality being is we still don't have enough vaccines to be able to meet the demand, which is in one way, I'm really glad to hear people are really wanting to get the vaccines. And the bad news about it is the longer they wait, the more frustrated they get, and they may take the opportunity to say, I'm out. Please be patient. We are advocating. The regional chair is on the phone on a daily basis saying, we need more vaccines. Dr. Kyle's on the phone. Dr. McTavish is on the phone. They're advocating at the health tables. They're saying Durham Region needs more vaccines. Get them in our hands. We'll get them in our arms, and that'll save everybody a lot of time and hardship. So I hear it. We're continuing to advocate, and you can guarantee that your voice is being heard, and those that have the authority to make those changes are hearing Durham Region's voice.
Yeah, I think one of the frustrations I've heard is that you talk to provincial politicians who say, we're just not getting enough.
Right.
You talk to the federal representatives, and they're saying, there are vaccines in freezers that aren't being used. There's so much finger pointing going on. People don't know who to believe anymore.
Right. And what I can tell you is in Durham Region, we haven't thrown any out and none are sitting in a freezer. So a vaccine has a name with it, and they match up, and that vaccine goes with that person. So we're really, really, I'm proud of that fact that Dr. Kyle had said, no vaccines are being wasted. Every vaccine is accounted for, and we're utilizing it. But the reality being is that we absolutely need more inventory. Like I say, there's going to be enough time for criticism afterwards. Let's just figure out where it's going wrong right now. Let's get it fixed. Let's get the logistics done. Let's get the vaccines into the community, and let's get these vaccines in arms.
Okay. Recently the government came down hard with another lockdown, and there was a lot of criticism for their choices of closure. I just want to get your thoughts on it.
So I didn't agree with the direction that they were taking and a lot of the steps that they were taking. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a healthcare professional. I'm a mayor of a great city of Oshawa. So I try and depend upon the experts to be able to tell us the right things at the right time for the right reasons. But the steps that were announced throughout this third lockdown, I thought, I didn't agree with many of them, but I also understand that as the mayor of the city, I have an obligation to implement them and enforce them through the enforcement tools that I do have. I wish there was more consideration in regards to targeting, really looking at where are the infections happening and how are we going to address it there. Small business has been absolutely just hammered. And I think in many circumstances being very much unfairly treated throughout this process. I think that there's been a lot of leniency when it comes to big box locations, and small business has been hurt tremendously. The culinary business has been hurt tremendously, and they've done a great job in regards to making sure that people are protected in their facilities, contract tracing, and making sure that they have a cap on the amount of people coming in. They've done their due diligence. I don't understand about the lockdown originally about the play parks. I don't understand about the tennis courts. I don't understand about the golf courses. I don't understand about a lot of those things. People need to be able to get outside and exercise. We're into the spring now. One of the best things for mental health, by the way, is exercise. So, doing that was something that I didn't support. I also thought the premier and his caucus put the police department in one heck of a position when they first came out looking for enforcement. The reality being is the city of Oshawa, through our education and information and asking for compliance, we haven't laid a fine against anybody. You know why? Because of the reason that our residents and our citizens have abided by the information that they've received. And we work closely with Durham Regional Police to be able to accomplish that task of educating, informing, and asking for compliance. But, putting people in an impossible situation under very stressful periods of time and asking them to enforce something that most people don't comprehend or understand, I think was unfair. But again, there's going to be lots of time for criticism after this. Right at this particular time, I'm advocating in regards to small business and our culinary business, outdoor amenities. Let's get them open. Let's continue to do the things that are necessary. Masks, hands, 6 feet apart, and make sure that we don't get into large gatherings. And I think that being outside, and if you look at the trails and the parks, by the way, in your community, all across the city of Oshawa, there's a lot of people out there walking and running and jogging, and and everybody's being respectful. They're staying 6 feet apart. They're going on the other side of the road. So everybody's doing their part, but just let us be outside, please.
Okay. Now we're almost out of time. I want to ask you about Camp Samak. Some really welcome news.
Great news. The past council meeting on April the 26th, we passed heritage designation on 1711 Simcoe Street North. That's Camp Samak. It was established in 1947 and it covers about 160 acres. This is really, really important to our community. We've got a heritage designation on that property now. We work with Scouts Canada, our city council. We passed it on the 26th. I'm really, really pleased about that. That's going to protect that green zone. You won't see houses or apartment buildings or anything else like that. This is a really important green space in the city of Oshawa, and we have been able to put that designation on there. So thanks to Council Mayor Pietri did a great job. Of course, he's been advocating things since 2003, and a very, very special thanks, of course, to our staff for bringing it all together. It's a really, really good news story.
Okay, it certainly is. And we're going to end our time together on that really, really good news story because we are out of time. Oshawa Mayor Dan Carter, thanks so much for joining us today.
Always a pleasure, Deb. Stay well. All the best to your family. Stay safe.
You too, sir. And to all our viewers, stay safe, everyone. Until next time, I'm Debra Hutchison.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
Hi, welcome to Cooking with Corey. I'm your host, Corey Dern, and with me is the fabulous Grant Peckford,
Catherine Seaton, Ted Rowney,
the lovely Lisa Lacey, Nellie Peterson, Sasha Sudat, Jason Poulter. So what are we making?
Have you ever looked at a recipe and thought, oh, I'm not quite sure how to do this, or not really understood the technique behind why you're doing it this way? And my show is the show for you.
That is exactly what you were looking for. The best thing about this is you're actually treating the tofu as somebody who would treat a steak.
Where's the salt and the tequila that goes with it? Wait, was that a different show?
That's Drinking with Corey. You're yummy. Thank you so much for being on the show.
I love it. Thanks for teaching me how to cut.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would